If you want the shiniest paint and the most protected, surely you need 17 polishing steps and 5 layers of coating.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. We're here to dispel a few myths. First of all, multiple layers of the same thing do not help you when it comes to a coating. That's why we're going to be doing the stack on this, the 8-year and the 3-year. Now, we'll be using our famous gold standard polish, loved by everyone that's tried it, but with something a little different this time. Yes, the red rotary jeweling pad, but on a 25mm DA.
I wanted the rotary.
I know, but we're gonna do it with the DA, just because we can.
I love the rotary.
Yeah.
I love the rotary jeweling pad. But this is a nice way to gloss up paint that's already looking pretty good. Maybe you've already compounded it.
Right.
Maybe you've just wanted that little gloss on a new car, and that's where I would typically pick the rotary and the jeweling pad.
Exactly, but some people don't have a rotary. They have a DA. And we've been asked, can we use this pad on a DA? We're here to say, yes, you can.
A lot of people are going to pull out a compound and a polish step on any vehicle, Ivan, and you've been the one trying to help detailers out there, whether you're enthusiast or detail, become an entrepreneur and realize that you're getting shiny paint with one step. Like, one step well done is going to save you so much time.
Right, and this Hyundai only has 2,000 miles on it. It is not, you know, an abused family hauler. It's a single guy that owns it, and he doesn't drive it that much. But with that, he's managed to maintain his paint, even though it's 2,000 miles, but he went through the winter with it, and it's still beautiful. We don't need to do paint correction. There's nothing to correct on the paint. We just need to deep clean it. Now, we've washed it, we've decontaminated it, we've used iron remover, we used water spot remover on it. It's looking great. But that little extra gloss we can get with this is just gonna send it over the top.
If we wanted to, we could wipe this down with panel prep and we could coat it right now.
Exactly.
The paint looks pretty good already.
Yeah.
That's an option. But we're gonna polish first. Not only is it gonna shine the paint up, it also just does that last deep cleaning step as well.
Exactly. With that, let's get polishing. In our pad washer, rinseless wash diluted 256 to 1, the only dilution we ever use. Couple hits with the pad washer, and off we go. One spray of polish. There's no need for 5, 6, 10 sprays, or even 2. 1 is all you need.
Ivan, I sneezed as you were talking, so I apologize.
Not a problem.
I sprayed gold standard everywhere. Don't sneeze while applying polish.
Yeah, not a good combination. I'm using a rinseless dampened towel, low nap, to help remove the polish. I don't want to be applying pressure when I'm removing the polish because we just finished polishing this paint. We're trying to make it look better, not worse. And pressure never helps. So by using the rinseless dampened towel, it breaks down the polish residue, lifting it off effortlessly, leaving a bit of lubrication behind that comes away with the towel. Now, those detailers out there that are really keen on overthinking stuff, our rinseless wash doesn't leave anything on the surface once you wipe it away. So we're not hindering the performance of the coating in any way, shape, or form. Now you notice I'm wiping off now, Nick is continuing to polish. Both ways work. It's really up to you. And Nick's got a good strategy behind his. It allows him to see exactly where he's polished. For myself, I've been doing this a little longer than Nick. I've got it down, I'm very methodical, so I know where I've been and where I haven't. But if you tend to lose track sometimes, or if you have kids, if you're doing this at home, and the kids come and play with daddy in the driveway or mommy in the driveway, then it's actually a good thing to leave it on the surface.
And you can let it sit on there for a while, especially if you're not in direct sunlight. As long as you have that rinseless wash dampened towel, it's a safe way to wipe it away. And
yeah,
like I said, I just like to, if I'm doing a 2-step, you know, I may do this with a wool cutting pad, leave it on the surface, come back with it. It just helps me keep track of things. It's almost like the red and black side of the Legacy sponge. Just something for me to stay organized.
Exactly, works perfectly. One thing you may have noticed, there's no tape on this vehicle. We're not taping the trim. I'm actually polishing the trim. I'm doing so on purpose because the gold standard polish doesn't leave any residue. And also, it actually does a great job of polishing trim, brightening it up, and removing any little oxidation that could be there.
One other tip that I like is I'm working my way now from back to front of the vehicle. So I keep the pad washer in front of me. So as I'm working toward it, I find it's easier to clean the pad as I go versus way behind me. And a wise man taught me that trick once.
Yeah, and the other thing is, this vehicle has such striking straight lines that it makes breaking it up into sections really easy. So the designers from Hyundai, thank you.
Polishing on speed 3 here, Ivan.
Yep.
I have a question for you. I'm used to using this pad with the rotary, Ivan.
Right.
What sort of finish would you say you're gonna get on a dual action with this jeweling pad versus the rotary?
You're gonna get a great finish, but the rotary is gonna give you just that little touch more of gloss. But on a vehicle like this, with this loading of metallic, this has a really, really metallic paint, you're not gonna see a difference. If it were a black with no metallic in it, you'd definitely see a difference. On this, you'll never see a difference because of all that metallic in the paint.
Yeah, and I would say that the difference between the DA and the rotary, I've been using this pad a lot. The rotary is quieter.
Yeah.
The rotary is a quiet machine, so if you haven't tried it yet,
yeah,
I highly suggest trying and being open to falling in love with the rotary with this pad, because that continues to be my favorite.
Right, but on the DA, it still works wonderfully.
Absolutely.
Nick, I think you need to wipe off a section.
Is it looking that good?
Yeah, it's gonna give you motivation to continue.
You know how sometimes you can just feel without actually seeing the wipe off that it's doing a good job? That's kind of how I feel on this paint. It's a joy to polish because of all these really flat panels.
Yeah.
And I think the paint knows how much fun we're having because it's rewarding us.
It is. It's I can see the gloss difference between the one door and the other door. One spray of polish, all you need. With the dual action, similar as the rotary. We want to keep the speed low. I'm just on speed 2. You don't really need to go higher than that, and no pressure on the machine. I'm just gliding the machine over the surface, letting it do the work. Always use your trigger lock, a very important component of the tool. And you want a 50% overlap. And just enjoy it. Polishing should be fun. It shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be enjoyable. Once we've polished, we use our rinseless dampened towel. Again, no pressure, no stress. Just lightly going over the surface. That's all you need. Work into that emblem. Make sure you have the whole surface with the rinseless. Then a dry towel. But you're not in a rush to dry it off. Let it evaporate a little bit. Let nature help you. Then, when it's about 50%, then you can go in and dry it. That way you're not moving water around.
Ivan, it feels like the Gold Standard polish has just about infinite working time, especially with a foam pad. How big should someone's section size be? I tried to stay within a 2x2 section. I managed to break the hood up into 2 sections, but boy, I was tempted on camera, just rocking and rolling to do half the hood at once.
Half the hood at once or a door is about the maximum I would go.
You could go smaller though.
Oh, definitely you can go smaller, but in terms of spreading it out, because yes, we could have done the whole roof with one spray. You know, the hood or a door is about the maximum I would go, or half the hood, sorry, and half the windshield for that matter.
Well, then I'm gonna do half the windshield. Let's go.
While I'm waiting on Nick to finish wiping off his side, because panel prep is better done as a job with 2 people, and apply a bit of tire dressing. Our tire lotion just goes on so easily with the flag tip nylon brush. Once the brush is primed, one spray is all you need per tire. How goes it, Nick?
It's going really well, Ivan. Thanks for doing the tire shine. I'm just making sure I got everything wiped off.
Excellent.
And you were right, this paint is so shiny.
It's shiny now, but wait till you see it with the stack.
I don't care who you are, what you do. Polishing paint is so rewarding. It never gets old. I mean, certainly you get used to it, but I'm never like, wow, I'm really disappointed that I made this car shiny.
I don't think anybody would be disappointed with what we've done here.
Are you an experienced polisher or are you a first timer? Please comment below. We love to hear who's tuning in, who's consuming this. You know, we like to know who we talking to. What do you want to hear more about? Like, join our Facebook page. The DIY Detail Facebook group has some 50,000 members at the time of this recording. Let's just have conversations because we want to make videos about stuff that people want to watch, Ivan, and
exactly.
We don't want to hear real world feedback and we listen.
We don't want to make videos that you don't want to watch.
Another tip Ivan gave me is when you're wiping the paint, don't wipe so hard you're shaking the car. That's way too hard, too much pressure. It's nice and easy. At this point, it shouldn't be a difficult process. There shouldn't be anything fighting you on the paint. And of course, if you put pressure on your towel, that can be a scratch risk, right? You don't want to pressure point, add a little scratch after all the hard work we put in. Although, Ivan, wherever you are, I wouldn't call it hard work. It's been pretty enjoyable.
Nick, I was off getting a few towels for the panel prep stage.
You might be tempted out there to step on the door sill for this. But Ivan would say no. He says, open the door and I'll be able to reach.
And?
I mean, technically it's possible. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you can reach past the halfway point easily.
I'm all 5'8", Ivan. I'm not a big Sasquatch like you. Ivan's not that much taller than I am either. Just gotta use your efficiency tools.
Speaking of efficiency tools, DIY panel prep. It makes applying your coating so much better, but at the same time, it's designed to work exactly with our coatings. Now, can you use it with other brands? Some people would say yes. If that brand has their own panel prep, use theirs. But right now, we're doing a DIY coating. We're doing the DIY stack. So of course, we're using the DIY panel prep.
Why would folks want to do the stack, Ivan? A lot of folks ask about it, and certainly I'd like to give them the answer they deserve.
Well, first and foremost, better protection. Secondly, gloss, gloss, and more gloss. And if you like water beading, well, the A3 stack is your friend. Where shall we start, Nick?
Wherever you want. I'm just examining your work. Fine job, sir, fine job. It's important to have two towels for the panel prep. A lot of people want to just use one, spray panel prep on the surface. Those are a couple of big no-nos.
Right, you want to spray the panel prep on your towel. And I love a short nap towel for this. And yes, you'd think I've morphed into Nick, but yeah, I'm putting a bit on here. And the reason I'm putting it on is I want to float any contamination that could be on the surface, and then Nick wipes it away with a towel before it dries.
So this is a pretty quick process.
Yeah.
Why not just one towel? A lot of people are gonna do that.
You can. Just make sure that you keep track of what side you're on, what you're doing. Because unfortunately, a lot of people have a little concentration issue with keeping track, and you flip the towel and you flip it, and then you answer your phone, and which side was I on again? And have two towels, makes your life easier.
Different colors also, like different kinds of towels.
Yep, let's do the hood and work our way up the other side. We'll save this one for the coating. Coating the windows as well, so we'll get them all settled away with the panel prep.
This is a step a lot of people may skip. And I hope while watching us today, you realize how important this panel prep step is to make sure this coating bonds the way that it's supposed to.
Well, not only that, it's your last insurance to make sure you have any of the polish residue taken away.
I don't care how efficient or meticulous you are, Ivan, and I'm not calling you out, but
no,
you miss spots too. Like, we are human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was talking to another detailer about that as well. Like, human beings are not perfect, no matter how methodical you are. So this last step, especially if you're alone, right?
Yeah.
You can miss things on your own. This gives you just one more step of redundancy.
One more chance to get it right.
Yeah.
And again, I'd like to thank the Hyundai engineers for all these square, straight lines. This is amazing. After doing some cars recently that were just a collection of curves, this is refreshing.
Wishing that we had a lift and all different things, yeah. Lots of contorted positions. A joy to polish this, isn't it, Ivan?
Yeah. As an older guy, you know, those contorted positions are not always fun.
Well, and a Jeep looks like it's going to be easy with flat panels from a few feet away, but any detailer knows that Jeep is just about the worst paint to polish. And Ivan, you've owned many Jeeps. Like, what is so deceptively difficult?
It looks like a box.
It looks like a box.
Yeah, that's it. It isn't. There's a lot going on with a Jeep.
Whereas this feels and acts like it looks in terms of polishing and wiping.
Yeah.
Easy flat panels. Of course, nothing's flat, right?
No, they have a slight curve to them, but we got some nice straight lines. It's easy to determine where we are, what we're doing, and why we're doing it.
Let's say you miss the polish the first stage, and you end up using panel prep right over an area that still has polish on it. Is that going to be okay?
That's going to be perfectly fine. That's one of the other reasons we want you to use panel prep.
It's not going to react on the surface and cause a nuclear explosion?
No, not at all. Not even close. But it is going to make sure that you've got a nice clean surface ready for the coating.
Ever since you told me to stop shaking the car when I do my dry buffs, my shoulder has been thanking me.
Yeah, you don't need to be putting a lot of pressure on a vehicle for anything. The only place you should be applying pressure to your vehicle is on the gas pedal.
What's your favorite part as you polish and ceramic coat a vehicle? For me, it's admiring my work as I panel prep. It's before the coating. It's sort of this pure representation of what I did with the polisher in my hand. The coating is going to make it look better.
Yeah.
But to me, this is just purely sort of what I've done in my head, like what I've accomplished.
Right. This is I see exactly what I've done and quality control check.
In some ways, it's truth, you know? Like, I feel like I'm interacting with truth. Yeah, it's real.
There's nothing hiding, there's nothing filling. It's just pure, unadulterated paint.
It can be a little frustrating if you miss a spot, or in my past, where I'd be like, wow, I compounded that section, but I didn't ever polish it. Of course, if you had a standard operating procedure and you were methodical, Ivan, that wouldn't happen, am I right?
It helps.
Ivan, what vehicles deserve the stack, our 8 and 3 year ceramic coatings?
Any vehicle that the person actually wants to maintain, that they like their vehicle. It doesn't need to be an exotic. It doesn't need to be electric. It doesn't need to be new.
Why use the stack versus just one layer?
Well, we're not layering with the stack. We're actually putting on 2 different coatings, combining them on the surface to make a third entity. And that third entity is just amazing. If you've never felt the stack, go to our Facebook group and just go in the search and put stack. You'll see all the raving reviews that people have done their own stack on their own vehicle. I think the most common word is wow.
And what's cool is I see a lot of guys and gals say they've never applied a coating before and they just had to have the stack. They had never polished paint before, and thanks to our videos, they were able to do it. And to me, those are the rewarding posts. It's like, wow, kind of empowering people to get pretty amazing professional level results on their vehicle.
Yep.
And you feel connected to it when you've put in the work as well.
Exactly. And normally when someone does all that work to prep it and coat it and polish it and all of that, they're probably going to maintain it better. So if you have a teenager at home that's on their first vehicle, polish the vehicle with them, coat it with them. There's a good chance they'll take care of it just a little bit better. Sweat equity is what it's called. So we just have the back bumper to do and we'll be ready to coat. Nick, panel prep is done. It's time for the 8-year coating.
Anything else folks should know about temperature or conditions before they apply the ceramic coating?
Yeah, above 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Other than that, you don't want to get it wet for an hour, so if it's raining outside and you're doing it outside, you might want to wait. It can be done in direct sunlight if you want to, but you have to be very careful, very methodical, and maybe a little quicker.
Let's get to coating.
Yeah.
Wow, that's how magic the stack is.
Yeah. So I have the 8-year coating. I have our foam applicator. We have 2 towels. Are you applying or wiping?
I like to level.
Okay, leveling it is. And when we say leveling, we really mean leveling. He's not removing any coating from the surface. We have to wait just enough that we get cross-linking. That cross-linking fades away, and when it's faded, then we're ready to level.
Let's do it.
Now to show you, we're gonna actually start on this back window. And normally I do windows last, but we wanna show you. I've got a fair amount on my applicator here.
We say 10 to 12. I counted about 16 there, Ivan.
Yeah.
So you went a little wild.
But I'm also wanting to prime my applicator. So the first panel you do, you're wanting to prime your applicator. And what this is doing is telling us, okay, well, it's quite humid in the shop today, so the cross-linking is quick.
This is more of a test for you, but also a demonstration on camera of
exactly.
What's it gonna do?
Exactly. And now you can level. Since about 50% of it has gone to clear, so we no longer have that oil slick on water look.
And with plastics and glass anyway,
it's a little quicker.
Yeah, even if I'm not seeing that humidity and watching it flash that quickly,
right,
we're wiping quicker.
Exactly.
Am I wrong there?
No, you're perfectly right. With that, now we can move to the paint. We know how long it's gonna take. So we have, again, high humidity in here today, so we're looking at about a 30-second to 1-minute window.
This is my insurance towel, and I didn't need it for anything there. It was perfectly clean.
Again, I put a little more on the applicator than I normally would because I'm gonna start spreading in the center. Normally we box in a panel. I'm gonna start spreading in the center on this hood.
And how many drops did you add there?
4 to 6, somewhere around there. I wasn't actually counting.
Usually we say 10 to 12 and then 1 to 2 on subsequent panels, but that window was a different variable. We're not used to that.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of ate it up. I don't know. Or is it the humidity in the shop?
It's very humid in here, meaning that the coating is reacting a little quicker than normal. As you can see, it's ready to level already.
Ready to level? Sometimes it's way longer than that.
Yeah.
So what do you tell the DIYer out there, Ivan? Because it could be confusing. Like, you tell me 5 minutes sometimes, you tell me 30 seconds sometimes. For me, it's visual. And then when you put your leveling towel on, it feels a little sticky. It's too soon, right? We don't want to get the leveling towel wet, actually.
Right. And with this, it's going into the paint very quickly.
Wow.
So I'm actually putting a little more on my applicator than I normally would because of that.
And again, how are they gonna know that at home?
You just have to watch our videos, listen to them, learn, and play it by ear.
We get this question all the time, Ivan. Will 1 bottle of coating coat my truck? Will 1 bottle of coating coat my SUV? And I always tell them 10 to 12 and then subsequent 1 to 2.
Right.
So this is a slight variable. Again, I'm thinking of you out there, so that's why I keep pressing you about how much to put on the pad. It's hard to know if you don't feel it in person.
Right, and you're ready to wipe?
Okay.
Ready to level.
Boy, humid is different.
Humidity is the bane of coatings. Humidity helps the cross-linking. As you can see, it speeds it up.
But it does feel a little grabby under my towel, and usually we say if it's grabby, it's too soon. But we're watching it flash, and it's like, no, it's ready.
Yeah.
It's very strange. So weather can have variables, even indoors.
Yeah.
And you're purposely going to overlap panels, and I know that about you and how you apply.
Definitely. We want to overlap because that overlapping ensures that we haven't missed a spot. And when you're leveling, you also want to overlap. That way there's no spots missed.
You can see that rainbowing on the surface, and we're watching for that to evaporate by about 50%. That's called flashing.
Yeah.
Boy, I thought that was going to be grabby, and it's ready to wipe. It's ready to level.
Yep. Now the humidity in the shop is roughly about 98%. We're just on the verge of raining in here. So,
Ivan, this couldn't have been simpler. I mean, having coated a Cybertruck this week, I'm telling you, automotive paint is a joy to work with.
Yeah.
And this is so simple. It's like anybody could do this, and you're getting professional grade results.
So Nick, I'm working from the front of the door back, so you can follow with the wiping front of the door back. And the mirror was done first.
And I think you mean leveling, Ivan.
Yeah.
We're not actually wiping, are we? We're wiping. I mean, that's a real word.
We're using the motion of wiping, but we're actually leveling the coating.
There you go.
Because your towel is not getting wet in any way, shape, or form.
Did you coat the other side of this handle?
Yes, sir. Both sides of the handle. Get that nice tactile feel when the customer is opening the door. There
are certain things you never want to miss when doing a ceramic coating. One of them is the handle, especially if it's for a customer, because when they feel that slickness, it's going to remind them of the job you've done. And they're going to be so happy about it too.
Yeah.
They're going to brag to all their friends about the ceramic coating you gave them. And even if you aren't running a business, sometimes it's fun to do friends and family's cars. Show off this new skill you've been learning on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ivan, what's your favorite part about applying a ceramic coating?
Washing the vehicle a week later. That first wash is always like, oh wow, this was worth it.
What are some of the common mistakes people, oh my gosh. It's so slick. I went onto a panel that we'd already coated. So it's starting to cure and get slick. That's amazing. What are some of the mistakes people make after they get a ceramic coating?
Wash it immediately. Or, oh, I didn't use any soap, I just hosed it off. That's a big no-no.
Why is that?
Well, you're just using water, and they're literally just hitting it with a hose and letting the water sit there. It's a great way of getting water spots. Now, one area that's often missed is the underside of these spoilers. I'm purposely getting deep into the underside of the spoiler because this is actually a very functional one. It brings air down onto the window.
I mean, this is technically an area you're probably never going to see. So you could just lay it on thick and let it sit. But that's not how we do things around here. No. When you pull it up, you'll see it, right? So we're men of principle.
Yeah.
We do it the right way. Ivan, I often tell people they can save their glass until last if they've never ceramic coated before, because sometimes they just lay it on way too thick.
Yeah.
And doing glass last ensures you get it across the paint first.
Exactly. But I know we've got enough, so not an issue.
You've done this a couple times?
Once or twice this week. Actually, more than once or twice this week, but yeah.
As a professional, do you have any jobs out there where it just feels like from start to finish it's going well? Yeah. It's an easy job. That's the way this Hyundai has felt. Just a joy to watch, a joy to polish. I guess it helps that it's a new vehicle and it's a viewer of the channel who knows how to take care of their ride. But I don't know, it just makes me more motivated to encourage you to take care of your ride, because then it's easy to maintain and it's fun.
Exactly. So the whole back is done.
Nobody wants to do a disaster detail every time they wash their car, right?
A few times we've mentioned the word high spot, hot spots. And this is one of them. Wherever there's an intersection of many different parts, that is where you have the risk of getting high spots. So different angles. And this vehicle, well, has angles.
It's really a joy to apply a ceramic coating with a partner.
Yeah.
Someone you work with, a family member, however this is going down in your life. And just knowing that it's important to be redundant and go over the panels and just make sure you don't leave a high spot in one of those hot spots.
And as you're working as a team, you want to make sure not to get in each other's way. So that's why it went all the way to the front there for Nick to do that. And then I can do this while he's leveling the other portion.
And we are coating trim on this vehicle because it's a new one.
Exactly, it's brand new, well, 2,000 miles, so pretty new. And the coating has not had any time to oxidize because guess what? It's only been winter driven so far.
Ivan, we're done with the 8-year coating, and now the big thing out there, wait 2 hours before you do anything else.
2 to 8 hours. And don't be tempted to say, oh, I'll do it faster. No, go for lunch, go sit in the spa, go for a walk.
Go sit in the spa?
Hey, if you have one, use it.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, but just for 2 hours, relax, let the 8-year do its thing, then you can start applying the 3-year. Please, please, wait a minimum of 2 hours, but you only have 8 hours to do it. So there's that 6-hour window that you can play with, but not before 2 hours, not after 8. Because we're not layering, we're not putting one coating on top of the other, we're putting one coating into the other. And the 8-year coating, we have to give it the time to bond, to coalesce, to cross-link into the paint and to itself, but the top layer of it is still a little soft, a little fragile. And when we put the 3-year on it, it goes into it. They're cross-linking together. We're making a new entity, and it's spectacular.
Ivan, how was your lunch?
Lunch was great. Had a bit of time to relax, answer some questions on YouTube, go on the Facebook group, and now, time to install the 3-year.
Let's do it. This is our graphene coating.
Yeah, this is the graphene coating. And not only does it have graphene, also has polysilane, SiO2, silicon nitride, and silicon carbide. So a very packed formula that does a great job. Now, the reason it has graphene and we call it a 3-year coating is because the graphene matrix, after about 3 years, tends to wane. And that's why we say it's a 3-year coating. The coating itself is going to last longer, but you're getting the graphene because you want water spot resistance. That's where it slows down a little bit after about 3 years.
Let's start installing.
Yeah, exactly.
So some folks ask, Ivan, can I do the 5-3 stack instead of the 8-year coating and then the 3-year coating after a couple hours?
Definitely you can. No problems with that whatsoever. So let's start on the hood this time.
I love how easy it is to do the stack.
Yeah.
The second layer goes on, like, it's hard to explain, actually.
Right, the second layer is spectacular. If you've installed coatings before and you've done one coating on top of another, it's fun. But this is like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. Once you try it, you'll go, wow, okay, now I know what they were talking about. Yeah, and no grabbiness whatsoever. Now the cross-linking will be a little slower because it's not cross-linking into paint now, it's cross-linking onto the 8-year ceramic.
And when you say cross-linking, for someone who's never heard of that term before, what does that even mean?
Well, it means the molecular bonds are linking together. It's a really interesting thing. And we have the rainbow effect, which means that it looks like an oil slick on water. And when 50% of that oil slick look is gone, then we can start leveling it off. And I started in that corner and I can see from here, it's still a little thick. So let me spread this out here. And laying a coating on thick is actually not a good thing. You don't want to put it on thick because you can get what I like to call phantom high spots. And those are spots that you look like you've leveled the coating. You think it's perfect. You come back an hour later and bang, there is, yeah. So this is where I started wetting my applicator.
You got a few runs down here as well.
Oh yeah, well then we'll do this little piece of fender here while we're at it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to have an extra set of eyes, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. There we go. And also the humidity has dropped in the shop a little bit.
Yeah, we had the garage door open for a couple hours and it feels like a different shop now.
Yeah. And now it's reacting, the way we want it to. So basically it has an oil slick on water and then it starts to clear up. As it's clearing up, that is when we start leveling. Now Nick is not in as much of a rush as he was before because of this. Give it a try.
Not grabby at all. It's really just, my head is like, how did this shop 2 hours ago have the coating flash so quickly, and now it's still hanging out.
Right, because of the humidity. The temperature hasn't changed, the humidity level has. If you remember before, the floor was soaking wet from us having washed the vehicle. Now we just have a few little puddles here and there, so.
You laid it on pretty thick, Ivan. I think it still probably needs a little bit of time.
Yeah, so give it a couple seconds more.
Okay. Because you don't want your leveling towel getting wet. You said that over and over again.
Yeah, never get the leveling towel damp. You just want it to literally spread the coating. So the high spots or the excess coating that's there, we're just wanting to spread it over the paint. Yeah, and I can see from here, we're at a good 50%, maybe a little more, which is perfect.
I'm actually not putting pressure on this towel. I'm just letting it work and grab like it's designed to do.
Yeah, you don't want to put any pressure. You just want to glide over the surface. And with the 8-3 stack, let me tell you, we're gliding. That is the proper term.
I'll come back with my insurance towel in just a second, but I am wiping over onto the next panel to make sure we don't get any high spots.
Yep.
And then this is a spot, I don't know why, but when you do ceramic coatings, it's easy to forget that spot.
Yeah, because it's a harder to reach spot.
It's not a high spot, hot spot in the traditional sense.
No.
Because there's no panel next to it. It's just, I don't know, even on small hoods, I feel like I miss that spot sometimes.
It's just because you're going in circles, and those circles sometimes you can miss along the edge.
Yep.
That's why I like boxing the edge of a panel before filling in with circles.
Okay.
And wow, is that got some gloss to it.
Does it look nice?
Oh yeah.
My head's too close to it. I'm in the zone here, but let me stand back. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can see your face beautifully in there, so.
Woo! Very cool. That looks amazing.
So off we go to the roof. Now I'm just going to do the roof nick up to the seam. I'm not going to do the A-pillar.
Okay.
And working left to right, front to back. That way Nick can follow along right behind me if necessary, but like we said, it's laying down super nicely.
How many drops are you putting back onto your applicator, Ivan?
2 or 3. Until the applicator gets really nice, and if I see that putting 2 or 3 becomes too much, then I reduce the number. So it's an ever-evolving number.
You're paying attention to the feedback that you're getting on the paint.
Exactly. Let the paint tell the story. Let the applicator do its job.
Yeah, paint will talk to you if you know how to listen.
If you're willing to listen, it's very chatty.
But it usually is with your eyes. Although it's how it feels too. I don't know, it is a conversation.
There are some things in detailing that your eyes can definitely lie to you. One of those is window cleaning. So cleaning windows, don't look at the windows when you're cleaning them. Trust me, it'll be much easier on you.
You gotta try the method to understand what Ivan's talking about.
Yeah, you will feel dirt that your eyes don't see.
Boy, I wanna step inside this car, Ivan, but you won't let me.
No, no need. You can reach just fine.
You sure you don't work for OSHA?
No, but I don't want you being hurt either.
This paint is starting to get so smooth.
Oh, definitely. You know, the slickness that the 8-year coating puts on is great, but when you stack it with the 3-year, it just becomes phenomenal. So Nick, I've done the top, I've done inside the scoop, and down the little flying buttress there, and we'll do the same up here, getting in there as far as I can, making sure that everything is coated.
Back in my previous detailing career, when I was doing this professionally in a shop, my leveling towels would get so wet. So I've learned a lot from you in terms of just, if your leveling towel is getting wet, you're wiping too soon.
Well, that's with our coatings. Other coatings, yeah, you sort of have to get them wet. It's the way they're designed. But we've designed ours to be, first of all, user-friendly, but extremely high performance. Because in this day and age, with the chemistry that's available to us, there is no need for coating to be difficult to install.
You got under here as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both layers. Because there's a little lip there as well.
Okay.
And then the flying buttress down this side. Doing a great job. Final inspection for high spots, and I don't see any.
Excellent job, Ivan.
Teamwork is the key.
Ooh, and it's so slick under this towel. Give it 1 hour before you drive it into the elements minimum.
Exactly.
If you have a day to leave it in the garage, it is going to be fully cured in a week. So there is a process happening.
Right.
The more time you can let it sit in the garage, it could be just in my head, but I like to do that.
Yeah.
But it's ready to go after an hour.
Yeah, 1 hour later, get in the car. If you want, go for a drive, even if it's raining. But if you can leave it a little longer, great. If you're doing this outside, don't worry about it. As long as you can keep it dry for 1 hour, it can rain on it. Now, again, we mentioned this before. A lot of big mistakes that people make is, oh, I'm not going to wash it, I'm just going to hose it off. Don't do that. If you get dust, if you get pollen on it, bear it out, leave it there for a week, then wash the vehicle. Now, if you do get a bird dropping, that we're going to tell you to take a bit of a rinseless wash and treat that area only.
Once you've ceramic coated your vehicle, you may wonder, well, how do I maintain this thing? How do I do a deep dive detail on a coated car? That video is right here.